But such considerations were far from her thoughts, for all her attention was concentrated on the speaker himself. Muhammad was 25 years old. He was of medium stature, inclined to slimness, with a large head, broad shoulders, and the rest of his body perfectly proportioned. His hair and beard were thick and black, not altogether straight, but slightly curled. His hair reached midway between the lobes of his ears and his shoulders, and his beard was of a length to match. He had a noble breadth of forehead, and the ovals of his large eyes were wide, with exceptionally long lashes and extensive brows, slightly arched but not joined. In most of the earliest descriptions, his eyes are said to have been black, but according to one or two of these, they were brown or even light brown. His nose was aquiline, and his mouth was wide and finely shaped, a comeliness always visible, for although he let his beard grow, he never allowed the hair of his moustache to protrude over his upper lip. His skin was white, but tanned by the sun. In addition to his natural beauty, there was a light on his face, the same which had shone from his father, but in the sun it was more powerful, and this light was especially apparent on his broad forehead and in his eyes, which were remarkably luminous. Khadija knew that she herself was still beautiful, but she was 15 years his elder. Would he none the less be prepared to marry her? As soon as he had gone, she consulted a woman friend of hers named Nufesa, who offered to approach him on her behalf and, if possible, to arrange a marriage between them. Maysara now came to his mistress and told her about the two angels and what the monk had said, whereupon she went to her cousin Waraka and repeated these things to him. "If this be true, Khadija," he said, "then is Muhammad the prophet of our people. Long have I known that a prophet is to be expected, and his time hath now come." Meanwhile Nufesa came to Muhammad and asked him why he did not marry. "I have not the means to marry," he answered. "But if thou wert given the means," she said, "and if thou wert bidden to an alliance where there is beauty and property and nobility and abundance, wouldst thou not consent?" "Who is she?" he said. "Khadija," said Nufesa. "And how could such a marriage be mine?" he said. "Leave that to me," was her answer. "For my part," he said, "I am willing." Nufesa returned with these tidings to Khadija, who then sent word to Muhammad, asking him to come to her. And when he came, she said to him, "Son of mine uncle, I love thee for thy kinship with me, and for that thou art ever in the centre, not being a partisan amongst the people for this or for that. And I love thee for thy trustworthiness, and for the beauty of thy character and the truth of thy speech." Then she offered herself in marriage to him, and they agreed that he should speak to his uncles, and she would speak to her uncle Amr, the son of Asad, for Khuwaylid, her father, had died. It was Hamza, despite his relative youth, whom the Hashemites delegated to represent them on this occasion, no doubt because he was the most closely connected of them with the clan of Asad, for his full sister Safiya had recently married Khadija's brother Awam. So Hamza went with his nephew to Amr and asked for the hand of Khadija, and it was agreed between them that Muhammad should give her 20 she-camels as dowry. The bridegroom left his uncle's house and went to live in the house of his bride. As well as being a wife, Khadija was also a friend to her husband, the sharer of his inclinations and ideals to a remarkable degree. Their marriage was wondrously blessed and fraught with great happiness.